Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody enjoyed the good breakfast, brunch sort of. So we are indeed fortunate to have with us the department officials led by Ms. Sujata Iyengar. Ma'am has been really very cooperative, and we met her at the department also. And she was very warm and welcoming. And with her, she has in her team Mr. Siddharth Nandal, Mr. Manjeet Singh, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Mr. Naman Goyal, Mr. Sunil La, and CA Ravi Soni. I hope I have not missed anybody. And Avinash ji is continuing with us, and between all of them, they'll be really happy to solve any queries which you may have. So now I request our past convener, CA Seema Mehta and Rakesh ji, to please join us in felicitating the department officials, and then we will start the official session.
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Respected chartered accountants, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning to everyone. I am Sujata Pradeep Iyengar, posted as Joint CLT TDS Range 13. Today, I'm accompanied by my colleagues, Mr. Naman Goyal, Mr. Siddharth Nandal, Mr. Manjeet Singh, Mr. Sunil Nag, and Mr. Manoj Kumar. We are indeed delighted to see such a huge gathering, even on especially on a Sunday morning for our department's outreach program. We take this opportunity to express our sincere thanks on behalf of the department to today's meeting conveners, CA Vijayta Jaiswal, Deputy Convener Kailash Kataruka, and Coordinator CA Nidhi Lalpuria, specifically to Mr. Jacob Desai, who graciously helped us convene this meeting at such a short notice. You know, keep calling me, ma'am, kya ho raha hai, kya ho raha hai? So really thank you. And the department also wishes to acknowledge the enormous service rendered by the CA fraternity across the country for their role in facilitating the smooth filing of ITR and TDS returns for the multiple SSC and done everything contributing to the exchange. Over the years, the Finance Ministry under the stable guidance of the federal government have initiated various steps in simplifying the filing of the TDS returns on the Traces portal. In this regard, it is very happy for JP WIRC has taken this novel step to organize this outreach meeting, which I'm sure will be very engaging and sharing their audience. I saw them smile, standing for joys, motivating, improve, learn, and excel. You are aware that our department has embarked on an initial journey to modernize input and communicate all that you facilitate through this outreach program to achieve seamless and error-free filing of TDS returns and reach high level of compliance by all SSE stakeholders. We earnestly urge each one of you present here to help strengthen the department and the board to facilitate and create a governance society and every kind of media return going forward. On behalf of the department, we welcome all of you to the outreach program, which is being conducted to the government of CCRT, which is our within Compl, and for your work to make it successful and meaningful. As you all have already been a very integral and important part of income tax. It's non-intrusive, but a very powerful tool to combat evasion and augment our revenues. It also helps in identifying taxpayers, thereby keeping a tab on domestic based evasion and profit shifting, and then involving and thinking of the taxpayers. Over the period of years, you will see a steady increase of percentage of TDS collection with direct tax collection. Supplemented by the awareness brought to time to introducing tax withholding provisions in respect of emerging areas like online gaming, cryptocurrencies, etc., which is evident from the following data released by the Ministry of Finance for financial year 23-24. The total budget collection was 19,60,156 crores, out of which the all India TDS collection was rupees 10,97,727 crores. Out of which Mumbai alone accounted for 3,05,258 crores. Hence, the emphasis on TDS to boost its collection and exceed the targets allocated. As TDS is an important source of funds for the government for carrying out various development projects and schemes. So today, the outreach program, my colleague officer, Mr. Siddharth Nandal, will be giving a brief presentation on salient features of TDS compliances and consequence of non-compliances. This will be followed by presentation on prosecution and compounding offences by my other colleague officer, Mr. Manjeet Singh, who is in charge of judicial and prosecution. And then subsequently will be followed by a question and answer session. And we should also take up some of your technical queries from the perspective of deductors portal with the help of CA Mr. Shyam Suni, who has graciously accepted our request to be here today. Before I conclude, I once again thank all the coordinators for organizing this outreach program and also taking the opportunity to wish each one of you compliments of the season and a great year 2025. Thank you.
PPT versus PPT. Best. Very good morning to all of you. Myself, Siddharth Nandal. I'm posted as ITU TDS 134, Mumbai. And I have got this chance to present a brief awareness program about all the TDS compliances and the consequences of non-compliance. And let me give a brief introduction about myself. I am a 2012 batch inspector who got promoted this year in January itself. And I was posted in CPC TDS Ghaziabad for 6 years, from 2015 to 2021. So if not all, I'll be able to answer most of your queries. But yeah, you must be knowing that when there's change in the system and the new things come up, So in transition phase, there are always problems, but we are looking forward, CPC TDS is also looking forward to, streamline the system more. That's why they are coming up with CPC TDS 2.0. And you guys are always the stakeholders in that. I'll be taking the session from now onwards. Like I'll be first giving you a brief presentation, and then after that we can go ahead with the query sessions. Also, I'll be suo moto taking up your most of the common queries which you had given earlier. We have the note of it. So I'll start with the presentation. So being you yourself as very practical and renowned CAs, so you must be knowing the TDS credit outflow, how it works. But let me just take you through this process flow once. So these are the stakeholders in the TDS credit flow. They are deductors, there's CPC TDS, there's CPC ITR, and the taxpayers, right? So deductors, they deduct the TDS and they file it through either challan payments or book adjustments, which goes to CPC TDS, and then correspondingly they file their TDS statements. So those TDS statements are being processed at CPC TDS Ghaziabad, and Form 16 is being issued to the taxpayer. Also, 26 AS is generated, which is being shown to the taxpayer. And this 26 AS feed is also given by CPC TDS to CPC ITR. Based on his 26 AS and the Form 16 issued by the deductor, the taxpayer files the ITR. And then there is reconciliation. And if there is any mismatch or something, then that is reported by CPC TDS to the deductor and to the AO also. So this was the brief about how the TDS workflow happens. And then these are some due dates of filing of TDS statements. So you get 1 month of time to file the statement, except the last quarter where you get 2 months. And for TCS, the date is 15th of July, 15th October, 15th January, and 15th of May. And the dates are now same for government and non-government deductors. And these are the timelines for issuance of TDS certificates, which you have to make aware to your deductor that when they have to issue the certificates. Now, let's just discuss this topic because this is very critical, and you also must be getting various queries from most of your clients about that how to file TDS statements and how to avoid TDS defaults while filing of TDS statements. So there are basically 5 or 6 type of TDS defaults. So 2 type of deduction defaults are there. One is short deduction and another one is late deduction. So on the deduction defaults, the default is calculated 1% per month or part of month. So by saying that 1% per month or part of month, during the previous session, you were asking that if there is a delay of 1 month, why interest is being charged for 2 months? So the reason is that all the defaults, whether it is short deduction, late payment, late filing, whatever it is, all the defaults are being calculated from the due date of deduction. So you have to always see that what is the due date of deduction. Let's say the due date of deduction is 30th of March. And if the return is not filed by, let's say, 3 months, then the default calculation will start from the due date of deduction. And since the interest is charged even for the part of the month, so for only 1 day of the March, full interest will be charged. So that's why even if you delay the filing of TDS statement, let's say by 1 day or 2 days, so the default calculation will start from the due date of deduction itself. And it's similar for all the defaults. So due date of deduction is the measure from where the default calculation starts. So for short deduction and late deduction, it's 1% per month. For short payment and late payment, it's 1.5% per month. For late filing under 234E, it's 200 rupees per day, maximum up to TDS amount. And then interest under section 222, if the deductor doesn't pay the default, which has been calculated under section 200A within 30 days of serving of that notice, then 1% simple interest will be charged on it. So let's just take up these defaults one by one. and what things you can just check while filing the TDS return and how you can avoid these defaults. Let's just discuss about it. The number one is short deduction. So as the name suggests, short deduction means that you have deducted less in comparison to what you have to deduct as per Income Tax Act, right? There can be three reasons why this default can arise. Number one is PAN error. This is, I think, last year this has become like a problem for you and for the deductors as well because of this inoperative PAN and this. So let me just discuss it for in brief this reason that under 206 AA, if the PAN is invalid and last year which has come up that the PAN and Aadhaar linking has to be done, and if it's not linked, then the PAN is declared as inoperative. So there is a functionality, as Mr. Ramani was telling you, like being an auditor, being a CA, your first responsibility is check. When you start your audit also, it's an annual exercise which you have to check that whether the PAN is valid or whether the PAN is operative. So functionalities are there. So there are two functionalities which is available to the deductor. One is PAN validation facility. When he logs into its traces account, it's there. He can enter the PAN of the deductee and check whether it is invalid or inoperative. It will show you. And there's one more functionality at e-filing portal where you can put the PAN and Aadhaar and can check whether it is linked or not. So once you know it's invalid or inoperative, then you have to deduct 20%. On the reporting portal.
Where we can check the trend in the month.
So one more is there what Mr. Ravi Soni is telling. So you have got like three avenues where you can always check whether it is operative or not. And CBDT circular has also come as a relief on it. They have extended the date also for it. If the PAN and Aadhaar is linked till 31st May 2024, then it won't be considered as inoperative, it will be considered as operative. And CPC TDS, what CPC TDS has done is they have suo moto reprocessed all the statements where short deduction due to PAN error has arisen for the reason that the PAN was inoperative. So let's say if some of your clients have got that demand of short deduction due to inoperative PAN, you can just check whether that particular statement has been reprocessed by CPC TDS or not. If that statement is not being reprocessed by CPC TDS, what you can do is you can drop a grievance to CPC TDS in the communication tab. In the menu request for resolution, you can put down your grievance that the PAN was linked before 31st May, but I have not got benefit of it. And now also short deduction due to PAN error is being charged upon me. So in that case, that statement will be reprocessed by CPC TDS. And if they will see in the system whether the PAN was linked within the time frame that is before 31st May. And if it is there, the demand will be removed. Okay. Now we're coming to the second reason, that is due to 197 certificate. So, 197 certificate has been digitalized. It has a unique number. So you have to take care when you're putting it in the statement. And if you by mistake put a wrong alphanumeric code, which each 197 certificate has, then demand will definitely arise. The system will compute it on the rate which has been which is there in the act. It will not give you benefit of the 197 certificate. So you have to take care when you are filing that detail. Even if on the first instance you put a wrong certificate number, you can always go and do a correction on it, right? So third is short deduction due to other reason. This is other reason means that the act mandated it to be, let's say, in 194J at 10%, but you have deducted 6%, then 4% short deduction will arise. So this way you can just avoid these defaults. And if they occur, then I have told you the grievance redressal also, that how it can be corrected. Next is short payment. So as the name suggests, short payment means that you have deducted, the deductor has deducted the correct amount, but while paying, he has paid less to the exchequer. This is, there are three types of short payment demand which can arise. The number one is short payment due to challan mismatch. That means that when you're filing your quarterly returns, then if you put a wrong challan number there in the challan details in the annexure 1, so 100% short payment due to challan mismatch demand will arise. So you have to take care while filing the challan details. Number second is short payment due to less tax deposited. The one that I was telling you that you deducted the correct amount, but while depositing it, you have deposited less amount, then short payment due to less tax deposited demand will arise. The next one is short payment due to insufficient challan balance. Let's say in the annexure 1, while filing the statement, you have put a challan with the challan balance of 1,000 rupees, and you have tagged deductees of 1,500 with it. Then for the deductees of 500 rupees, this demand will arise, because you can tag only that amount of deductees as per the challan balance. Next one is late deduction. Deduction is to be done on the date of payment itself, right? So take care while filing the returns of the deductors that the date of deduction and the date of payments are same. And if they are not same, then late deduction default will arise, and it is 1% per month. And let's say there's a delay of 1 or 2 days, but the month changes, then the default will be calculated for 2 months. Next one is late filing. You know the due dates of filing, and it's 200 rupees per day, very hefty. So better to file all the returns on time, and you all are doing it great, I know. The next one is late payment. So this is the most critical part of TDS defaults, late payment, because that amount which you have deducted is to be deposited within the next 7 days, except the fourth quarter where you get a 1 month to deposit it. And if it's not done, then in certain conditions, as per the guidelines, as per the circular of prosecution, the prosecution proceedings under section 276B can be initiated, besides charging interest also. So even if the deductor is paying the TDS amount, he's paying the interest also, then also prosecution proceedings will be initiated. So you have to ensure that the TDS which has been deducted gets deposited on time. Yeah. So, sir, this prosecution and compounding full PPT will be taken up by my colleague. So I think he'll be able to tell you. It will be followed just after my PPT. The next one is interest under section 222. So in the queries which you had raised, which has come up to us before coming here, this 1 or 2 questions were there, that why interest on interest is being charged. So even if you pay that principal amount and you pay the interest amount, and the demand is being paid by you, that challan is being tagged by you in the correction statement, and when that correction statement gets processed as CPC TDS again, you get additional notice for interest, right? So that interest is nothing, but it's an interest under section 222. See, 30 days are the payment has to be done within 30 days. If it's not done within 30 days, then this simple interest of 1% will be calculated on it. And besides this 222 payment, there is also one more interest that is being charged by the department. Let's say you file a correction statement and you add a DD row. DD row means deductee row. You add a PAN row, new PAN row, which was not there in the original statement. Then additional interest will be computed on that row if there is any default in that. So that will be shown as additional interest on, let's say, late payment, additional interest on short payment for the latest process statement. That is different, and this one is different. These are the consequences of these defaults if they come up. First one is that you have to disallow that under section 40 AI or 40 AIA, and the deductor would be treated as a defaulter assessee in default under section 201. Simple interest will be charged under section 201 1A. there will be penalty can be levied under section 221 and 234E we have already discussed. Then if non-deduction is there, then the penalty will be levied under section 271C. It can be maximum up to the TDS amount. So these are also the penalties. If there is delay in filing, even in incorrect filing, 271H can be levied. This is what the homepage of the deductor looks like. All the new e-tutorials and new functionalities that come up on traces are being shown here at the e-tutorial thing, and there is a toll-free numbers in this emails also there. Also, this red tickers come up on the traces very regularly. If any new functionality or let's say a new update has come from CPC TDS, you can always go and check there. So these are the functionalities which are available to the deductors. Now, I have only tried to make this presentation as per deductors only, because you get that login. So these are the functionalities which are available to the deductors. On the home page, there are various menus like dashboard, statement payments, defaults, communication, downloads, profile, quick links. On the dashboard, you can see the statement status of the previous 4 quarters. Then summary of default payable amount can be seen. Your traces activities that for last 3-4 years, what statements you have filed, your TDS performance, how much TDS you have deposited and all. And then there's a shortcut to inbox also. And you can also place requests for various downloads. Then this is, I think, the most important tab, which is their statements and payments menu. Where you have to do, you can check the status of the statement that has been filed by you. And you can also check the status of the challan. Then you can view your TDS and TCS credit. This was the functionality which I was talking about, PAN verification. It's there in the statement and payment menu. Then you can also validate the lower deduction certificate, which is being issued by the department, whether the certificate is valid or not. So before filing of statement, always ensure that you check the certificate, whether it is valid or not. Because if the certificate is not valid, then short deduction demand will arise. You can place the request in form 26B from here, from this functionality. Then you can track request of that refund. And also you can file the Ulta's challan correction request from this menu itself. So let's just talk in brief about the Ulta's challan correction. So in challans, there are various attributes. So for various attributes like minor head, major head, section code assessment here, these 4 attributes, the deductor can correct himself. He can place the request on the portal itself using this functionality. And if there is change in ownership, means that the amount has been deposited in one TAN, it has to be transferred to the other TAN, or the amount has been deposited in one PAN and it has to be transferred to the TAN of the assessee, or let's say it has been deposited into a TAN which does not belong to assessee, and it has to be transferred into the PAN of the some other assessee, then only you have to approach the department to us. Otherwise, all the 4 attributes like minor head, major head, section code assessment here can be corrected by the deductor himself using this functionality. Then you can also place the request of 26A in the cases where deductees have deposited their self-assessment tax. So the principal amount will not be charged upon the assessee, only the interest amount will be charged upon the assessee from the due date of deduction till the date of filing of ITR by that particular deductee. These are the functionalities under the defaults menu. You can view the default summary. You can place the request for correction from here. There are new forms that have come up. right? Which are PAN-based form, 26 QB in the case of sale of immovable property, 26 QC in the case of this tenant and the rent. So those forms are to be filed online, and if, let's say, some mistakes happen in filing of those forms, then there is functionality for correcting those forms as well, and that is there on the Traces website. And you have to use this functionality, request for correction, from here. Then further it will take you that which statement, it will ask you that which statement you want to correct. And one more thing that is to be taken care of, that since it's a PAN-based form, so you first need to register the assessee not as a deductor, but as a taxpayer, right? And then you can use this functionality for correcting those 26 QB or 26 QC form. Similarly, refund request can also be placed for these forms, PAN-based forms. And there are some queries with respect to these PAN-based forms which have come up to us, so we'll discuss about this PPT. Also, you can place the request for justification report if you want to see that why these defaults have arisen. They give you, CPC TDS gives you a very detailed analysis of that which section it has to be deducted and in which section you have deducted it or when it was to be deducted, all those details in the justification report. One very common query that has come to us is that it takes time to get, when you place the request, it takes at least 4 to 5 hours of time to get back the console file or get back the justification report. But you'll have to appreciate that thing that, see, these statements are not filed on Traces as it, the original statements, right? These are filed on e-filing website, or let's say if you are filing it offline mode, they are filed at NFC centers. So these statements are then inverted at CPC TDS, and then these are processed at CPC servers. Then after processing of those statements, those FU files, if you want to file online correction on Traces portal, let's say you want to place the request for console file or justification report, it takes time from the server to get those files. And there are two basically centers. One is the DC center, one is the DR center. So all the data cannot be stored at one server also. So it would take some time to get it back. But earlier it used to take, I think, 1 to 2 working days, but now it has come to hours. So there, I think we'll have to be more patient. And let's say if it can be done at real-time basis, we have also requested CPC TDS. We have given that suggestion to them also. And let's say if they can make up this change in the next CPC 2.0. Then there's one more functionality of tagging or replacing the challan. This is very useful functionality, tagging or replacing the challan. So in the PAN-based demand, when there is any PAN-based demand, there's an intimation being served upon the assessee under section 143(1). What assessee has to do is he has to just pay the demand and that demand will be nullified, right? He doesn't have to go back and change his ITR, file a correction on it. But in the TAN-based demand, what assessee has to do is he has to first pay the demand through a challan, then he has to file the particular correction statement, tag that challan, then only that demand will be nullified on Traces portal. The reason for that is there's a huge compliance in that process, right? The reason is that the system is not able to identify that the demand which is being paid by the assessee is related to which row, which PAN row, right? Every PAN row is processed differently. Separately, it is being processed at CPC TDS. So there is default calculation for every PAN row. Okay, one PAN row can have a default of, let's say, short deduction. The other PAN row will have a default of late deduction. The other will have of short payment. So the demand, let's say there is a demand of 1,000 rupees being generated, and there are 3 or 4 defaults, and the assessee just pays 200 rupees out of that 1,000 rupees. The system will not be able to identify that default is with respect to which PAN row, which default it has to remove. So that's why this part of filing of correction statement has become compulsory and mandatory for it. So the assessee himself has to tell that I am paying this amount for this PAN row. Then only the demand with respect to that PAN row will be removed. and let's say there is a simple demand of interest or something, or tagging of fee, then you can tag that challan from this functionality, tag replace challan. If there is any manual demand being generated by the department in 201, then also you have to go and tag that challan with using this functionality, then only that manual demand will be removed from the system. Online also. This is for interest and fee and manual demand. Yeah. Only for manual.
If it is not tagged and the assessee forgot to tag that challan paid, as you rightly said, but suppose that in that case it will show in our system as unclaimed challan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until unless you tag it, it will keep on showing it unclaimed or unconsumed. Yeah.
So there is a way.
And even the board is
Unconsumed.
unconsumed, unclaimed means similar only. The status will be shown as unconsumed. And the board is taking up this matter of unconsumed challan very seriously right now. And we as department also, we are issuing various notices for consuming these unconsumed challan. And the queries that we get from you is that the assessee is not able to see that which challans are being available to them in which year. And if they know it, then they'll be able to consume it, right? So while there's a functionality, I think in statements and payment menu, where you can see the status of your challan status, right? When you will fill the financial year there, you will.
See, basically, one thing is that the money which you deposit as a TDS, that money is lying over there. That money either has to go to the government or it has to go to the SSC. It cannot lie over there. One basic thing is that it has to be consumed by somebody. That is the purpose. See, these are the people who are holding the money for a temporary period. Either government has to use that money or the SSC has to use the money. That should not lie over there. So that money has to be consumed. The purpose is that who is the right owner of that money? Either the government is the owner of that money or the SSC is the owner of the money. This is just like that's a bank account. Bank account, the money has to be withdrawn. What do you think? So when the money has to come, it has to go to that particular account. Government unless and until this money has not gone to that particular bank account by that person, that money has to go anyhow. So unconsumed challan is there that should not be lying over there. So this is the purpose of this.
And what CPC TDS has done is they have taken cognizance of this matter suo moto only. And let's say there's a challan which is lying unconsumed in a particular year, and there is no demand of the assessee in that particular year. Then there is, for department, there is no reason that if there is no demand in that year, why the challan is being not utilized, right? There shouldn't be any challan with any available amount there in that year. So based on such logics or such criteria, CPC TDS has suo moto freeze those challans. That challans will not be able to, the assessee will not be able to see that challan anywhere, even not in the ultas. In that case, if the assessee is not able to, let's say, see those challans, you have to approach your TAN-AO with the assessee, and the AO will be able to see those challans in a functionality, and he will be able to guide you that yes, this challan is being freezed and there is a procedure to unfreeze that challan on case by case basis. Yes, sir. Good.
One financial year, we were not able by mistake this period. That challan amount can be used in the same year, or it can be used in another year also.
So that plus minus 1 year. So let's. Yeah.
Not after that.
Yes.
What happened that money will not be in 2020? Please.
No, you can claim a refund.
You can claim.
Compl is always there. See, for refund, there is only one condition is there, that you should not take the amount by adjusting the income TDS amount. If you've already claimed once, then you are not eligible to claim the refund. But if you have paid extra amount, then you have always an option to claim the refund.
Is that
Then
like?
set off the next.
No, there is no time limit. You can claim the refund of any challan which has been unclaimed in its lifetime. And regarding striking of the challan, currently before 11/12, all the challan which has been unclaimed, full amount has been unclaimed. That challan has been treated by the department. And there was specific condition for a special reason also for there. Because what happened that 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, time was not compulsory. Or 8, 9, there was a rule that only if 80% time is there, then only you are allowed to file the return. If you don't have time, you are not allowed to file the return. At that time, this condition was there. So many people at that time, what they have done, they have filed the return only for the return where time was there. And for others, they have not filed the return only. Because of which unclaimed challan was is used there. If we see the analyze the detail, major chunk of unclaimed challan is of 7, 8, 8, 9, 9.
Right.
And this is the major reason because 7, 8 PAN was not compulsory, 8, 9, 80% PAN was compulsory, 9, 10, 100% PAN was compulsory. So people were filing the return only for those they have the PAN. Else they were not filing only. And what happened is many are now, many people what they were doing, they were utilizing that challan. Which is of there, they were utilizing by when we say fraudulently they were utilizing the challan they paid 7, 8, 8, 9 for some other person, for some other people. So to stop that fraudulent, the department has freeze the challan. So if you are eligible, your demand challan is your only, and for that particular directive only, you have to show the proof to the department, and department will unfreeze the challan.
This exercise has been,
One of my cases, we have made the payment of TDS in the month of October. That was 194 KP and KA, so 10% and 2%. By mistake or it was just a question of route. We have made payment by 10% because the safer side. But the deductee is saying it is only 2% should be deducted. So there is a difference of 8%. Now they are demanding that 8% to be refunded back to us. So is it possible for us to request for refund and get back that amount?
Refund is not possible, but you can utilize challan for other people.
and you can utilize it for plus minus 1 year. With any other directive that is
Any
there.
other deductive, any other section.
There must be TDS liability for other directives as well.
Any other section is also allowed. It is not necessary that 194D challan can be used only for 194D. 194D challan can be utilized for 194C also, 192 to 192
So
also.
section code is relaxed. You can deposit the challan in 194C and use for other sections as well.
Can we change the assessment here also by?
Yes, that's what I told you earlier. You can
Okay.
change the section code, minor head, major head, and assessment year. For changing the
Condition is there for changing assessment.
assessment year, the condition is that you can move the challan only till the date of deposition of challan.
Future date you cannot do. If you have paid the challan in 17, 18, then you cannot change the assessment year 24, 25 at time. Because you are not on a futuristic got to, you can predict, okay, my 24, 25, challan demand is required.
Up to current year.
Up to current year.
Yes.
Even if I don't correct the section, if I was supposed to get 194J and 194R, both are 10%. By mistake, I said 194R. So is it compulsory I should change the section or even if I don't change?
No,
the
not
required.
what
If you have noticed the TDS return before 2012 and after 2012, there was one major change.
section?
Section was mentioned in deductive check, not in the challenge. Before 12, it was required in challenge. After 12, it was required in deductive check. So any challenge, any section, deductive check to mention the correct section, it will get processed with no.
So,
not even like 194R and 194J, you are saying that 10%. You can also tag 194J with the deductive 194C. Yeah, section code is completely relaxed. I would just request you to keep the question hour session. I think I'll just take 4 or 5 minutes to complete the application. Yeah, the reason is that the jurisdiction is the different officers, right? 195 is with the International Taxation AO, and the other one, all the other TDS sections jurisdiction is with TDS AO. Yeah, it's there. Yeah. So I think the last tab, the communication tab, the main functionality or the most important functionality to the SESI that is being given here is request for resolution. So any problem or any grievance that you have with CPC TDS, you can always raise a ticket from here. There is a unique number that is being given to your grievance that is called ticket number. And you can track that ticket number from here. Even if you are not satisfied with the answer of CPC TDS, you can re-raise it. That cannot be closed on their own. So please utilize this functionality of request for resolution. And I think within 48 hours, CPC TDS always answers your queries. And let's say if they're not able to answer it, you have some problem, then you can always come up to us. Then in downloads menu, you can place the request for form 16, 16A. And you can also place request for form 27D. You can view your bin. You can download 197 certificate from here. Various forms or the reports you can access from here, downloads menu. Then in the profile menu means the basic profile of the SSE, the digital signatures, communication details. If you have to change the password, anything, then this tab has to be utilized. One more thing which I would like to elaborate here is this signature thing. That please ask your assessees or your clients to always use DSC. Because using DSC, you will be able to bypass various type of KYC, which is required by the system if you don't use the DSC. Let's say if you are placing multiple requests for console files or for justification report, for every time the system will ask you to clear the KYC. By KYC, I mean that the system will ask you, it will prompt you to fill in the details of the challan which you have paid in the last statement and 3 PANs and the challan details, what amount you have quoted with respect to that PAN. But if you are using the DSC, the system will ask for KYC just once and then it will relax for the other things. So it's for placing a request for console file, placing a request for this justification report and for other things also. So these common queries that have come to us is, let's just try and discuss one by one. The first one is console file that I think I have already taken up, that it takes time to get the console files. So CPC TDS is already on it. Let's just pray that the time reduces in CPC 2.0. The next one is interest on why interest on interest is being charged. That also I think I have taken up, that it can be either due to interest under section 222 or the new DD rows that the SESI has added into its return. The third one was invalid PAN or inoperative PAN. One more thing, this is flag C removal. So when the deductor is filing the return, and if he comes across an invalid PAN, then he has to raise flag C. So flag C is basically to tell the system that this is an invalid PAN and the processing has to be done under section 206 AA and 20% has to be charged on it. But once that flag C has been raised by the assessee, that row will be freezed. Okay. That means that you will not be able to file correction on it. There will be, I think you will be able to file correction, but you will not be able to file correction on certain fields, right? There are 3 fields. Huh? TDS amount cannot be changed and you will not be able to even change the flag C also. For that, you will have to approach your TANAO. And earlier, what TANAO used to do is that through proper channel, we used to send the documents to CPC TDS, and then from backend, they used to remove that C flag. And then the SSE could change that particular PAN row, DD row. But now a functionality has been given by CPC TDS to TANAOs, and we are able to do it online only. So if there is any row that is being freezed, you can always come up to us and we'll try and help you. There will be some documents we'll be requiring from you, and then online we'll place the request and CPC TDS from backend will remove that flag C. Next is unfreezing of challan. There is a functionality That has come up, yeah.
But the taxes which are paid, suppose the taxes must have, if the taxes are paid, the credit, annual inserted, the tax rate will be, deductible will be getting that.
Yes.
That he will get, sir, but flag C is raised in the case of invalid PANs only.
Yeah, but was very well the directly suppose the higher taxes paid. Person will be getting the credit for the taxes paid or not, is taxes paid higher, they will be definitely getting the tax.
They will definitely
Yeah.
get the
That is the answer for that.
Yeah. So CPC TDS processing, sir, always works on the logic itself is that the deductive will not be penalized. You will get all the credit of whatever TDS that has been deducted. If the deductor doesn't even deposit that amount, the deductive will not be penalized. He will get the credit, the demand will be raised for the deductor. One more, this common query, which we have got from you people is like how to file corrections for the years prior to FY 12-13.
Currently, it is allowed. The same to everybody.
The same is allowed, but a recent change has come.
First April 2024 onwards, it will be
25, 1st April 25, from next financial year. The returns, you will not be able to file the corrections for the returns from, I think, before 1920, right? 6 years. So FY 18-19 and before, you will not be able to file any correction on any TDS statement.
So what about the demands of per area which they are showing? And because of non-availability of details, they are not able to file the corrections. See, actually what happened, when we do the audit in our client's record, there are no TDS outstanding. But in your department, it's showing outstanding because of the certain technical error that he has deducted TDS under 194C, but Chalan he has paid under section 194J. So while filing the TDS return, the person who is filing he has shown under 94J. Now demand is showing shortfall of 9% because of this technical error. Actually, it was deducted under contract, but it was Chalan was filed under 94J. The person who was doing the punching he has also shown under 94J. But as such, practically there is no shortfall. But in your record, it is a shortfall. So these are really a practical issues where assessee has not done anything wrong.
So in that case, you can always revise the return.
You can revise the returns.
Sir, since it is related to so earlier, period, it is very difficult.
So I'm just coming on it that how you have to revise those returns, right? See, CPC TDS came into inception on October 2012. So before that, all the TDS returns were inverted at CPC TDS, and those returns are called migrated statements, right? And I think FY 11-12 or before, the returns were not most of the returns, but some of them were in paper returns also, right? So most of the problems that occurs in those years only. So there is procedure for everything. In case of paper return, what you can do is, if you have, see, you must have the copy of paper return, or at least you should have the copy of the acknowledgement of filing of return. So if you have that copy, you can always file offline correction for that.
And if you don't have that copy also, you can always visit to the NMDL and they will provide you within a day. We have seen that if you just write an application to NMDL center, they will provide the copy of the acknowledgement within a day. They will not take more than 1 year.
And why, Raviji, why they have to write to NSDL center? Because the returns were first processed at NSDL only that time. Because CPC came into inception in October 12. That's why. So you get those returns from, let's say, NSDL. Now you file an offline correction. You go to TNFC center, you prepare your return in your pen drive or CD, give it to TNFC center. Now this return, now in electronic form, will be processed at Traces server. Once a return has been processed on Traces server, you can always go and file online correction on Traces itself after that return.
And many times, many people were saying that they don't have the data. If your return was filed in electronic format earlier also, then data is not required. You can just download the console file using your digital signature. If your digital signature is registered, you can download the data without anything.
So I feel that there is a seriously need to check. There is no short deduction. There can be a short payment. So if that, as I explained you, now we are also your customer. We are doing everything on your behalf.
You are extended hands of department, right?
Right? So, when short payment is what is the short deduction, sir, actually?
Short deduction is that if you are required to deduct 100 rupees, and you have deducted 10 rupees.
Yeah.
In that case, only short deduction.
That is what I am telling you, sir. When we are doing the audit, in books, there is no such. This is all purely a clerical error because of which there is a short deduction.
So typically on the,
So that is what is required to look into. I have a solution. I don't know how it is practical.
Sir.
Suppose if in my 10 pen, there is a short deduction according to you. I'm not able to contact that 10%. But if we, because of your software, if you are able to find out that all 10% have paid their taxes, then where is the question of the short deduction? So
Sir, for that-
if you want to do it, sir, there is a possibility by using a proper software. Otherwise, there will be a huge litigation and the person assessee is never agreed that I have already paid, where is in my books. It is purely because of this clerical technical error.
Sir, you cannot say that it's a technical error, but it's a systemic error, right? Let's say it's a system. So since the paper returns are now transitions onto digital returns, everything has to be done on system, right? So the system must understand that in which section you have deducted. Okay, system is not that intelligent that they will be able to see the books as well. So whatever you put in the system processes it accordingly. So you put it right, and let's say if a mistake has happened from the assessee, it has put 194J instead of C, but he has paid his TDS, you are saying he's paid his 2%. You can always go back and file a correction statement.
Sir, I agree. I'm talking about this past demand.
Past demands are also rectifiable, sir.
Sir, there are so many issues, many people don't have the data. And secondly, sir, this processing was also done
That's-
from the department.
That's what
It
we
was
are,
not immediately.
that's what Soniji is guiding you. That's what we are guiding you, that all the returns can be processed.
That is what I told you about paid correction.
Accept the solution instead of arguing the matter is not going to come to an end.
It always work on the matter. Garbage in, garbage out. If you don't have garbage, you will get it. In the, they don't have AI technology is something that they themselves will see whether the system number is wrong or not. It will not come to. They will not come to.
Let us assume that there is a demand of 50,000 rupees of RI to 10 years. Now, since he wants to pay that money, he doesn't want to go into correction of that. Let us assume he pays that money. Now, how do I correct?
After 20,000, the correction is required.
That's what I'm saying, how are you going to make correction? Trial years.
It can be filed, yes, yes.
I would suggest, consider digital signature over there. Then no data is required. Just by digital signature, everything you will get on the system only. No need to go to department also. Console file, justification, everything you will be able to download from the system. Just mention a digital signature.
Just make a DSC of the assessee, register it on the traces. Using the DSC, you can download the console file. By console file, I mean the file which was originally filed by the assessee. You will be able to download it, it's there with you. Then you can use that file and file correction. You have to convert that file into RPU, file a correction.
The challan status, we are able to do one by one. Is there any way we can challenge, view the status of all the challans today by the answer?
For 1 year, you can view all your challans. Okay, in challan status, if you put your year, there's date-wise format. Period-wise, from one date to another date. Let's say you want to see for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. All the challans will be visible. But full data of the challan will not be visible. You will not be shown the BSR code of the challan. And that's for security reasons.
BSR code and amount is not true.
If you put the, challan serial number will be visible, date of deposit will be visible. And if the system will prompt you to put the challan amount, if you know the challan amount, if you put it, then the challan will be visible.
Because of the security reason, because what happened is instead of my time number, if someone has used my time number, and if I know, okay, this challan is available, I will utilize it. If I know the amount, but if I don't know the amount, I will not be able to utilize it. So because of that only security reason only, the amount we have to mention, then only you will be able to verify the unconsumed.
But
And challan detail will be able to.
But when you will go and file correction statement, and in the RPU, when you are there and you have to fill the extra one, the challan details, there, I think they'll be able to see the challans of plus minus 1 year as well, which are available.
only for challan, when I'm saying. RP is not available, online collection is there. When we want to add any challan, only online collection is there. For directly online offline collection both is available, but for challan collection, only online option is there. And when you are using online collection, everything could be visible. What is the amount? What is the awaiting time in that challan? See why they have done this is compulsory for a challan? Because they don't want that for correction of the you make an error. While writing a correction, don't make an error. So that will what the challan there, challan only you can use.
Have an option of availing the benefit of no TDS as per the circular of notification of March 24. For that, they have to file form number 1 on the portal, and then they have to share the form number 1 with their deductor. So has that form been operationalized on CPC or e-filing portal? Form number 1 for the March notification.
It's applicable from which date?
It's applicable for that reason. For it is applicable for assessment year 25-26. So for financial year 24-25, the deductees in gift IFSC can take this benefit. But we could not find the relevant form on the CPC or the e-filing portal. Has that form been operationalized?
Form is not being, as per our knowledge, form is not being used. But the deductee can always take the benefit of circular only. Letting the deductor that because of this circular, it is not there. But for
Because in the notification, it has been mentioned that it has to be, the form has to be filed as per the prescribed.
but it has not yet been notified.
Online form is not available. Online is not available. When it is in file.
So let's proceed to few more common queries that has come up. One is a filing of 26QB form in the case of multiple buyers. So if in the case of sale of immovable property, section 194 IA says that if the amount of consideration of property is more than 50 lakh, then 1% TDS is to be deducted in case of resident sellers, and 26QB form is to be filed. And if there are two buyers, then two forms are to be filed. And let's say if there are two buyers and two sellers, then for each buyer-seller combination, one form is to be filed. So two buyers, two sellers, 4 forms has to be filed.
The number of forms is a calculation there. One number of buyers is the number of sellers. If buyer 1, seller 1, 1 form. Buyer 2, seller 1, 2 form.
2 form.
Buyer 2, seller 2, 4 form. Buyer 3, seller 2, 3 into 2, 6 forms. By multiplying, you can always come to know how many forms you require.
Have a consolidated credit.
For 26 QB currency, this option is not there. Because this is a pen-based return.
Which
Because it for convenience, nowadays the property is always a dual link, right? Because nomination वगैरह अपनी
basically for convenience purpose also it is on a dual.
So at least change.
Yes, there may be some.
What are you suggesting to change?
Suggesting to change only one form,
One form for one.
because see, each property now is not a single buyer or a single seller. There are always 2 buyers and 2 sellers. For the convenience, we put the second name, obviously for the nomination part and all this, we put the second name. So why can we not have these consolidated?
Because this is a suggestion, right?
Then only the first name is required.
So you don't need the name. If you don't get the name, no problem.
If one is only a joint owner for the namesake, then he is not a seller or a buyer on both sides.
Not required.
Not required. You have to see what is the ownership ratio of 100% property, who is the owner for the 50 and 60%.
Because if you add a note there, then at the time of capital gain also.
Capital gain, you have a problem.
Yeah, then at the time of capital gain, you will have problem. Then it's not required.
In case of a TDS which is paid wrongly twice. So after claiming of refund online application, we want to approach the officer for
further procedure or it is to complete?
Form 26B is to be filed for the excess TDS that has been deposited, and the refund will be issued only if there is no demand on time. If there will be 1 rupee demand also, then the refund request will not be processed.
When you have applied for the application online, it was showing with the officer and suddenly went rejected.
See,
So have we, the officer?
you have to submit the application already in copy to submit to the department. And along with the application copy, I would suggest you submit a no due certificate for default SEO. Because if there is no default, then only the refund will be received.
It was
But the certificate is default.
It was a TDS on property which was deducted twice and paid.
So there is refund functionality for that also. For 26QB form, in the case of sale of immovable property, if excess TDS has been deposited, there is a functionality for that also. You can apply your refund there. You have to first make you have to make a ID for the assessee on portal as taxpayer, not as deductor. And then log into that account and you can place the request there.
Friends, we have a question answer session next to Mandeep sir's presentation. Let's give a time to Mandeep sir on prosecution. That's also very important topic to be in this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We must appreciate that you are great audience. इतने प्यार से इतने ध्यान से सुनते हैं आप लोग यार. अभी एक छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन दे देता हूँ. My name is Manjeet Singh. ऐसे सर ने बोला मनदीप सिंह. It's not Mandeep, it's Manjeet Singh. So I joined the department in 2009 as an inspector and got promoted in 2016. We will start with the statement of Avinash sir first. He said, don't make your life tedious. Be compliant to the TDS provisions. तो अभी तक जो PPT चला उसमें तो TDS compliances के बारे में था which can make your life tedious. लेकिन अभी जो जिस टॉपिक पे हम बात करेंगे that is that can turn your tedious life into sleepless nights, and you can add many more things to it. So we will start with it, and आपके जो queries वगैरह हैं that we will take that also. Luckily आपके 2-3 query ही हैं इस topic से related. तो I thought कि इस particular topic पे तो पूरा page भर के देंगे, but it was not like that. So it's mean that you are quite compliant to all the TDS provisions, and that's a good thing. Let us start. इनकम टैक्स एक्ट 1961 का जो प्रोविजंस जितने भी हैं उनमें एज यू ऑल नो कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जिसमें मतलब इसका मेन पर्पस तो टैक्स कलेक्शन ही है और इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं है, लेकिन उसमें अगर कुछ डिफिकल्टीज आती हैं तो उनके लिए अब सीधी उंगली से घी नहीं निकलता है ना। हम सब ने बचपन में सुना है, जमाने में सुना है, अभी भी सुनते हैं। तो इसलिए गवर्नमेंट छोटे छोटे कुछ प्रोविजंस लेके आती है, लाइक इम्पोजिशन ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, पेनल्टीज, और उनसे भी नहीं माने आप तो फिर मीन्स नॉट इट्स अबाउट क्लाइंट्स, योर क्लाइंट्स, है ना। तो वी आर लाइक एसएससी और डिपार्टमेंट की बात करते हैं तो यू कम्स इन बिटवीन, बिकॉज ऐसे अभी इन्होंने बोला कि यू आर एक्सटेंडेड हेड ऑफ द डिपार्टमेंट, सो यू आर अस ओनली, सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द एसएससी, ओके। सो देन द prosecution comes into the picture. Now बहुत सारे जैसे अभी नीचे लिखा ही हुआ है इंटरेस्ट पेनल्टीज, दे बिकॉज इट इज जस्ट मॉनेटरी थिंग सो दे डोंट वरी मच अबाउट इट, बट this prosecution is quite a thing which we have already discussed, that it can turn your TDS life into so many other things. So this is a very serious imposition of other than these penalties and interest and everything, it is quite a serious mode, which has been introduced by the department, by the in this Income Tax Act, so that the SSCs can be more compliant. There is no, intention of the department to put SSCs, in some hardship or like that, but it is just the main purpose is to be more compliant. The SSCs should be more compliant to it. Now 276B section comes into the picture for the prosecution provisions. Now prosecution section 276B says that if a person fails to pay within prescribed time limit to the credit of central government, what? The TDS deducted by him, the dividend tax, dividend distribution tax as per section 115O, tax in respect of winning from lottery or crossword puzzles as per section 194B, tax in respect of first provision to section 194R, means include ये सब provision included है, but I have just because ये कुछ इसमें नए हैं इसलिए that's why we mentioned them also. And the ultimate this punishment is that it is punishable with regress imprisonment for 3 to 7 months, including that interest, penalties and everything else. अभी जो नया प्रोविजन आया है that comes to the rescue of the many of the SSCs, अभी उसमें क्या हो गया है, that will be effected from 1st October 2024. अभी इससे पहले क्या था कि जिस मंथ में आपने TDS काटा है, the next month का 7th मार्च को छोड़ के, मार्च में that will be 30th April आपको TDS पे करना है, बट उसके बाद में 7th के बाद में अगर आप पे करते हैं and if the amount reaches to the extent which covers the prosecution provisions, तो prosecution initiate हो जाते थे, but now this section has increased that particular thing, that time limit. It says now that अगर आप जितना भी TDS काटा है, if you pay it before filing of that quarterly TDS statement of that particular quarter, then it is no prosecution will be launched or initiated in that case. Now, if a person, now 206 ka, again, because 276B and 276BB, that TDS and TCS, that covers the same way. Again, 3 to 7 months, it is the same thing. Now, 278B, where an offense under the Income Tax Act has been committed by a company, then every person who at the time the offense was committed was in charge of or was responsible to the company for the conduct of business of company as well as company shall be deemed to be guilty of offense and shall be liable to be proceeded against the punishment punished and punished accordingly. Where it is proved that the offense has been committed with the consent or connivance of or is attributable to any neglect on the part of any director, manager, secretary, or other officer of the company, such director, manager, secretary, or other officer shall also be deemed to be guilty of that offense and shall be liable to be proceeded against the and punished accordingly. Okay, so कौन covered है इसमें? Company का केस है तो who will be the responsible person? Who will be the principal officer? Now, company, as you all know, means a firm, an association of person or body of individual incorporated or not, whether incorporated or not. Now, directors है a firm. Directors in relation to a firm means a partner in the firm. Any association of persons or body of individuals means any member controlling the affairs thereof. So, as per the proviso to the above section 278B, if the person proves that the offense was committed without his knowledge, or that he has exercised all due diligence to prevent commission of such offense, then such person is not liable for punishment. तो now एक इससे पहले वाले सेशन में आपके यहाँ से पूछा गया कि हाउ मेनी पीपल आपने पूछा था कि कितने केसेस में प्रोसिक्यूशन लॉन्च हुआ है ना? तो उन सारे केसेस में लॉन्च हो गया जो नहीं प्रूव कर पाए. जिसने प्रूव कर दिया है, he is that proceedings are being dropped. Yeah, statistics. Okay, you are more interested into statistics. चलिए देखिए एक भी हुआ है then also it's an alarming situation, है ना? एक भी launch हुआ है then also it should not be like that. It should not happen. But still आपने statistics पूछा तो as far as CIT TDS charge is CIT TDS 1 Mumbai charge is concerned, I think not exactly because I have just joined and there are so many cycles which are being given by the system itself. Out of those, many are being either dropped or launched. So we don't have the I don't have the actually we have if this would have been the query then मैं लेके आता था. But I think फिर भी 300 के आसपास लॉन्च हुआ है. 300 से ज्यादा ही होगा. हाँ, that is about TDS 1 charge. हाँ, तो है उसके आसपास है. But I must say that if it is 1, then also it is quite alarming, and we should take all measures to mitigate that particular thing also. Yes, sir.
Now, how does the department come to know about it that this person is deducted or not paid? Because unless the deductee complains, what is the remedy? Because deductee is not getting credit for that English is not paid. Right? Deductor has not paid the tax. Deductee is not getting credit in his tax. So the prosecution part will come to know only provided the deductee complaints to the department.
Yes.
What is the process of that? Because the deductee has to complain to the TDS officer. I mean, also will deducted. How do you identify the defaulters?
We identify or how? Okay. So we identify, जैसे सर ने बोला अभी कि आपको क्रेडिट नहीं मिला तो आपने कंप्लेंट डाल दिया, है ना? हम सर्वे भी करते हैं ना सर. हम सर्वे करते हैं, सर्च करते हैं और दूसरे बैंक से इंफॉर्मेशन आता है, दूसरे जितने भी रिसोर्सेज हैं गवर्नमेंट का वहां से हमको जो भी मिलता है रिटर्न से भी मालूम पड़ता है. और दूसरा नहीं उनका क्वेरी क्या है सर? हाँ. तो आपका जो आपका जो एओ है TDS एओ सर हाँ आप डायरेक्ट
which is he knows the time of so even if the deductive files a complaint in CIT office anywhere, my CIT office, yeah, CIT office, the deductee should raise the request to any officer in any of the TDS. That's it. My CIT.
आप अपने
One more. There is an idea of TDS also. Contact us at the rate TDS.gov.in. Even if it is there, CBC TDS will forward it to the relevant tab. That
That is the best way, because contract us, if we have seen that within 48 hours, you will come and reply, you will reply to you, your query has been taken up. And if the solution is there, they will provide a solution also, or they will forward that query to the necessary department.
I think only complaint about playing with the council. I don't really follow that also.
If wherever the complaint that will raise the complaint, that will 100% be forwarded to the relevant tab. 100%.
How do we follow the status of the complaint?
Within 48 hours, we receive a mail, in that, if someone will say, you can come and you can perform.
let's start now. Okay. That is now section 288, 278C in the case of HUF. The Karta will be the responsible person here. Punishment not to be imposed in certain cases. No person shall be punishable for any failure referred to in the provision of section 276B or BB, 276BB, if he proves that there was a reasonable cause for such failure. Now, there are some guidelines issued by CBDT for selection, identification of such cases. What is to be, what monetary limit is to be taken, what time is to be taken. So accordingly, there are these many guidelines which are being issued by CBDT. So first was in 1980. Thereafter, it was in 2008. So in 2008, this is the now 2008 onwards. The first time in 2008, they said if the amount is 25,000 or more, and the same is not deposited within 12 months. That was in 2008. उतने तक के सारे जितने भी cases थे, all those cases were identified and prosecution notices were issued to them. Thereafter 2013 guidelines में वो improvement हुआ, वो इसको improve किया because many people started doing that. वो last 12 month में जाके ही भरते थे वो, है ना? तो फिर then they modified the guidelines and they said कि 1 lakh or more and the same is deposited by the due date. जो आपका नेक्स्ट मंथ का जो 7th डेट है उसका, यहां तक सब मैनुअल होता था, मैनुअल सिलेक्शन ही करते थे, सारे एओज करते थे. बट इन 2016 दे सेड कि सिस्टम विल आइडेंटिफाई नाउ. जो भी आप प्रोसिक्यूशन ऐसा नहीं कि मैनुअल नहीं कर सकते, मैनुअल भी करेंगे, बट सिस्टम विल आल्सो आइडेंटिफाई सम केसेस वेयरइन the prosecution proceedings will be initiated by the department. So 2016 onwards, there are 3-4 cycles, three cycles. To 2022 में ही 2 आया है and 24 में 1 आया है. So वो cycle में they have provided us the list of SSCs who have committed defaults in payment of TDS. So in all those cases, prosecution have been initiated, and in some of the cases there are cases wherein prosecutions have been launched also. So in 2019 the limit was increased to 25 lakhs. 25 lakh बढ़ा के उसमें पीरियड भी थोड़ा 60 days कर दिया था. Now 60 days from the due date shall not be processed for prosecution. ये एक अमेंडमेंट 2019 के सर्कुलर में उन्होंने किया. Now ये other than these the cases which are been selected by the system, the CIT TDS may consider any other case for prosecution based on information from sources. आप जो बोल रहे थे, based on the information from sources such as survey, spot verification, grievances received. And in such cases, the CIT shall send intimation to जो भी concerned PCCIT या CCIT TDS है, along with the reasons for selecting the said cases. And फिर नीचे का departmental process है. Then इसको दो सिस्टम सेलेक्ट करें या मैनुअल सेलेक्ट करें. मैनुअल सिलेक्शन के बाद में that will be intimated like सिस्टम ने जो सेलेक्ट करके लिस्ट भेजा है, that list will be forwarded to the respective AOs. Those AOs will issue show cause notices. Then reply of the SSC or the SSC has not replied. In both the situation, they will prepare a form T, and that is the format available on the system also. The AO will prepare the application of proposal, and that will be forwarded to the CIT through proper channel. And then CIT will issue show cause notices to the company and the co-accused. And if the reply found suitable, and if the SSC proves that जो भी हुआ उसका एक कारण है, then the proceedings are dropped. In more than 70% cases, the proceedings are dropped, but 30% cases are still there, wherein the SSCs are not able to prove. Especially during surveys also, we found many discrepancies. So in those cases, the SSCs are never able to explain why that has not been paid. So उनमें फिर launch होना है. तो then launch AO जो है
सिस्टम सिलेक्ट करता तो 25 lakhs लिमिट है.
हम भी सिलेक्ट करते हैं तो 25 lakhs लिमिट है.
That's mandatory for all.
हाँ, लेकिन जैसे अगर सर्वे में गए, बिकॉज वो जो आप 25 lakhs है, आप एक बार उसको थोड़ा सा एक बार हम देखते हैं दोबारा से. हाँ, देखिए उसमें वो क्या बोलता है कि cases where non-payment of TDS is 25 lakhs or below, and it is not or, it is and delay in deposit is less than 60. तो both the conditions should be fulfilled. अगर नहीं करता है तो अगर 60 days के beyond चला गया और 10 लाख है, then that case also will be selected. तो ऐसा नहीं कि 25 लाख मतलब 25 लाख तो पकड़ो ही आप, ऐसा नहीं. Then CIT will issue the sanction order, and the respective AO will launch the proceedings. That is the procedure for prosecution. Now, this is the time period for the entire process from identification to processing of 279(1). Yes.
प्रोसिक्यूशन में आईपीसी की धाराएं लगेगी 406, 409।
सर आईपीसी नहीं है अभी,
अभी it was
अभी न्याय संहिता आ गया है तो उसके प्रोविजन लगेंगे।
न्याय प्रोविजन इक्विवेलेंट
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
वो लगेंगे।
लगेंगे सर। प्रोसिक्यूशन तो वही चीज है ना, क्रिमिनल मैटर है वो। नाउ प्रोसिक्यूशन प्रोसीडिंग इनिशिएट कर दिया है डिपार्टमेंट ने, या आपको पता चल गया है कि यू है मतलब एसएससी को पता चल गया है दैट दे हैव कमिटेड ए offense, they have not paid TDS or whatever commission of offense they have determined, they have come to know, so they can file for compounding. For compounding, it is not necessary that the department should issue a notice or department should detect it. आपने डिटेक्ट कर लिया है, then also you can go for compounding. That we call it suo motu application by the SSC. डिपार्टमेंट ने अगर ये कर लिया है, डिटेक्ट कर लिया है, नोटिस भेज दिया है, उसके बाद भी यू कैन फाइल फॉर कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन। लॉन्च होने के बाद तक पहले जो ये था, पहले के गाइडलाइंस थे, तो लॉन्च हमने जब कर दिया है उसके बाद तक आपको जो प्रोसिक्यूशन जो ऑर्डर जो लॉन्च कंप्लेन का जो आपके कॉपी मिल गया, सब हो गया है, वो तब तक आप कंपाउंडिंग कर सकते थे। लेकिन अभी की गाइडलाइन में थोड़ा क्लैरिफाई नहीं है वो, उसमें उन्होंने बोला एट एनी टाइम, ऐसा बोल दिया है उसमें। सो एट एनी टाइम, लेकिन उसमें नीचे पूरा ऐसा क्लैरिफाई नहीं किया है कि क्या वो प्रोसिक्यूट हो गया उसके बाद भी कर सकता है, बिकॉज देयर आर सम केसेस वेयर प्रोसिक्यूट होने के बाद भी वो कंपाउंडिंग में चला गया एंड हमने रिजेक्ट कर दिया, लेकिन कोर्ट बोलता है कि नहीं आप इसको कंसिडर करो। एक दो केसेस हैं ऐसे। सो इस गाइडलाइन में एट एनी टाइम बोला है, बट इट हैज नॉट बीन क्लेरिफाइड कि वो प्रोसिक्यूट होने के बाद भी जा सकता है क्या। ठीक है, तो
इंटरवेंशन परमिसिबल है
हेलो,
बाय द कंप्लेनेंट,
हाँ
बाय द डिटेक्टिव,
क्या बोल रहे हैं?
बाय कंपाउंडिंग, बाय द डिटेक्टर being prosecuted, he files for compounding, no?
यस,
Can the detective intervene in that process and then object to that? Protest to that?
आपने कंपाउंड अगर कर दिया है देन यू कैन,
No, at the time of consideration of the compounding.
हाँ हाँ,
But can the detective may intervene in that matter and say, no compounding should be permissible, he should be prosecuted?
नहीं कौन,
He has to be
नहीं आप
Yes, complaint should be.
ये वाला आप CCIT का कह रहे हैं, CCIT should consider that particular
Wherever it says compounding is there.
कंपाउंडिंग CCIT के पास है। हाँ नहीं डिडक्टिव नहीं
Compounding has been initiated after that deductive is not
नहीं, डिडक्टिव इज नॉट इन द पिक्चर। नहीं डिडक्टिव,
He becomes the informant. If he becomes the informant, he has the right to be intervened. No, that is a criminal right. That is civil right.
He can file a separate case against them. He can file a separate suit for.
Yeah, he can file.
लेकिन डिपार्टमेंट में वैसा नहीं है कि आप
The case is with department, then deductive is not.
सर डिपार्टमेंट में तो नहीं कर सकता है। ठीक है, कंपाउंडिंग अंडर सेक्शन 279(2) of the act, any offense under chapter 22 may be compounded by the competent authority. Competent authority is the CCIT, principal CCIT, principal DGIT and DGIT. Now various guidelines have been issued for compounding also, and all the guidelines जो 2008, 14, 19 and 22 में issue हुआ था, they all have been revised, and in supersession of all the guidelines, the new guideline that was issued on 17th of October this year 24, that is now in the picture. तो अब जो भी गाइडलाइन, जो भी आप कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन फाइल करेंगे, दैट इज इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द लेटेस्ट गाइडलाइन, एंड जो भी गाइडलाइन पहले फाइल हुआ है, जो भी एप्लीकेशन पहले के गाइडलाइन के मुताबिक फाइल हुआ है, जो कि पेंडिंग है, they don't need any to file a fresh application in this now as per this circular. लेकिन अभी जो भी आगे जो भी application file होगा, that has to be in accordance with the new guidelines. अभी इसमें एक टेक्निकल एक छोटा सा जो मिस्टेक एक दो एप्लीकेशन मैंने देखा अभी जो कि रिजेक्ट हो सकता है, उसमें कैसा है कि अभी इसमें कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन का जो पैरा 4 है, उसमें वो बोलता है कि the compounding application may be filed for offences pertaining to one financial year in case of a taxpayer or quarter in case of a deductor. तो हम क्वार्टर वाली की बात करेंगे. Or multiple quarters, the compounding application filed for multiple quarters shall be called consolidated application. अपने को क्या लगता है कि हम एक ही साल का कर रहे हैं, but it is not a year. TDS वाले के लिए क्वार्टर कर रहा है, तो क्वार्टर बोला है. तो if you are filing for multiple quarters, even for one financial year, it will be considered as consolidated. तो consolidated का फीस अलग है, 50,000 है. जो अपना जो नॉर्मल जो है सिंगल जो कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन है उसका है 25,000. तो ये टेक्निकल छोटी सी मिस्टेक की वजह से योर एप्लीकेशन गेट रिजेक्टेड. तो ये एक इसमें नया एक जो डाला है. अदर बाकी तो जो पुराना है उसमें तो पुराने से तो बहुत ज्यादा माइल्ड कर दिया है. अगर आप कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस की बात करते हैं तो ओनली 1.5%. No other co-accused or other litigation charges or all the charges are being removed. Only 1.5% is into the picture now. So for single compounding application, 25,000. For consolidated compounding application, that is 50,000 per application. Now this fee is not non-refundable, but it will be adjusted against the charges. So the compounding application fee at above rate shall also be payable in respect of application which were filed before the date of issuance is granted but have been rejected. Rejected only those applications which were having curable effects, defects. अभी टैक्स नहीं पे किया, कोई गलत फॉर्मेट में एप्लीकेशन कर दिया था, these kind of things. लेकिन जो भी एप्लीकेशन मेरिट्स पे डिसाइड कर दिया है by the then CCIT, no application can be filed in those cases. Now payment of all taxes and interest and everything is required. Without that the compounding will not be considered. Now if there is a demand, then AO will issue a letter giving him time of 30 days. So अब उसके अलावा जो period है, sometimes the compounding charges are quite high and AO SSCs are not in the position of paying the entire amount in one go. So AO will give him 30 days time, 30 to 6 months period that can be extended by the CIT, and 6 to 12 months will be extended by the CCIT. And 12 to 24 months will be extended with the approval of the chairman CBDT, and after that there is no extension. Now कोई भी co-accused भी अगर एप्लीकेशन करना चाहता है then he also can file an application. So it is not required कि कंपनी ही करे, मेन अक्यूज ही करे, को अक्यूज ना करे, को अक्यूज क्यों करे, को अक्यूज also can file an application. Now there are some cases where the applications will be accepted or the compounding of offense will be done with the prior approval of some other competent authorities. Those cases are where if a person is convicted, either the case is convicted for with imprisonment of 2 or more years with or without fine by a court of law, so competent authority will be the CBDT. So in case of an offense which is related to another offense under any other law for which he has been convicted with imprisonment for 2 or more years with or without fine by a court of law, if the applicant, as per the information available on the basis of investigation conducted by central or state agency, has been found to be involved in any manner in anti-national or terrorist activity, in such cases, the competent authority shall consult with the relevant agency and seek inputs regarding the said activity and its implications for the purpose of deciding it as a deserving case and incorporate them while seeking approval. So, in case of an applicant being a person other than the main accused, where it is proved that that applicant facilitated tax evasion through mechanisms such as use of entities of laundering money, generation of bogus invoices, sales, purchase, without actual business by providing accommodation entries or in any manner as prescribed into 77A of the Act. So if the offense is directly related to an offense under the following: black money, prohibition of Benami Act, usme hai, then also the authority will be chairman CBDT. The application for compounding shall normally be accepted if the condition mentioned in these guidelines are satisfied. However, compounding is not a matter of right, and application may be rejected by the competent authority in exceptional cases on recording in writing. Reasons, recording in writing, reasons such as if the applicant is a habitual offender or gravity of offense. There are many cases wherein the SSCs have defaulted for more than 7 years, 5 years, 8 years. और कई बार अमाउंट इतना बड़ा है कि 5-5 करोड़ नहीं पे किया है, 2-2, 3-3, 5-5, 7-7, इवन 24 करोड़ अभी तक जो मैंने देखा है, 24-25 करोड़ भी है जो पे नहीं किया है, एंड फॉर many months. So ऐसे केसेस में if he is filing for compounding, then the gravity of offense also is to be seen by the competent authority. So in these cases, the compounding application may get rejected. Now, this is the procedure which we follow. आप जो compounding application file करते हैं, you file it before the CCIT, then CCIT send it to the CIT, CIT further forward it to the additional CIT, then additional CIT give it to the concerned AO. Then the AO prepare the list, prepare a checklist in form in Annexure 2, which is enclosed with that latest guideline. उसके हिसाब से prepare करके then he forward it and it goes to the CIT through the same channel. तो आपका एक क्वेरी ये था कि कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन लेट क्यों हो जाती हैं? आपका एक क्वेरी था ये कि तो देयर आर मेनी रीजंस. वन ऑफ द रीजन इज बिकॉज it goes through many channels, and there are so many other things also, because now as per this new guidelines, जितना भी पुराना केसेस है उनका भी कंप्यूटेशन, बिकॉज गाइडलाइन सेज कि पुराना एप्लीकेशन फाइल हुआ है उसका भी कंपाउंडिंग चार्ज का कंप्यूटेशन नए गाइडलाइंस के हिसाब से होगा. सो in CIT TDS 1 Mumbai charge, we received more than 300 applications. So उनको वापस उनमें हमने reports भेजी हुई हैं, but now we have to recompute the compounding charges, and the AOs have to verify all the facts again, and they have to resubmit it through the same proper channel. So that is quite time consuming. उसकी वजह से जो नया applications आया है, they got उनको फिर और थोड़ा सा डिले होना पड़ता है, उन एप्लीकेशंस को करना पड़ता है. एंड उसके अलावा कई बार क्या होता है कि कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन फाइल किया है, कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस उसको एसएससी को कन्वे कर दिया है, लेकिन फिर भी एसएससी पेमेंट नहीं करता है. एज पर द गाइडलाइंस बिना पेमेंट आपको कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन नहीं होगा. बट सो कंपिटेंट अथॉरिटी ऑलवेज थिंक्स कि चलो ठीक है अभी कर देगा, थोड़े दिन में कर देगा. But that is not the only thing which is in the head of the competent authority. He is handling many other things also. So it drops. फिर पता चलता है कि वो 6 महीने के बाद आया कि सर मैंने भर दिया है, तो 6 महीने बाद हुआ. In some cases, I have noticed compounding charges has been conveyed to the SSCs some 4-5 years back. आज तक पे ही नहीं किया है. वो एप्लीकेशन पड़ा हुआ है ठंडे बस्ते में, कहीं पे तो पड़ा है, अभी वो आया, आप पूछेंगे कि 5 साल तक आपने किया क्यों नहीं। कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस हैव बीन कन्वेड टू द एसएससी, अब उसको पे करना था, चालान भरना था, टैग करना था, कंपाउंडिंग ऑर्डर हो जाता था, लेकिन वो नहीं हो पाया जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स। तो उसके अलावा भी गलत चालान भर देते हैं, पैन में पेमेंट कर देते हैं, टैन में करना चाहिए था, फिर वो उसकी वो पूरा उसको करेक्ट करवाना है, तो उसमें दैट प्रोसीजर टेक टाइम, सो दैट इज वाई देर इज अ डिले। अदरवाइज जो जिसका सब ठीक ठाक है, कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस हुआ, पेमेंट कर दिया उसने, चालान भर दिया, कंज्यूम हो गया, तो आई डोंट से कि वैसा कोई केस नहीं छूटा होगा, बिकॉज ट्रांसफर्स होते हैं ऑफिसर्स के, दूसरे कई रीजन हैं, लेकिन हम कोशिश ये करते हैं कि वो सारे केसेस जिसमें सारा सब कुछ क्लियर है, वो उसमें कंपाउंडिंग ऑर्डर हो जाए, बिकॉज उसमें हम लोग कहीं भी नहीं जा पा रहे, बिकॉज हमारा भी अगर वो लॉन्च हो गया है ऑलरेडी, कोर्ट में चल रहा है, तो उसके हियरिंग पे हमारा तो काउंसलर फीस लेता है ना, कंपाउंड हो जाएगा तो फटाक से उसको खत्म करेंगे, सो दीज आर द थिंग्स। तो ऐसा नहीं कि उसमें हमारा कोई फायदा है, फायदा नहीं है। हाँ बताइए।
One of the example that you mentioned that there is a demand of 24 share hospital.
हाँ
How does the department know that this amount is pending? For payment or once the payment is made and after the return was filed, you can do that.
सर सिस्टम तो वैसे ही पता करता है,
But the
जो
payment was already paid and then also the prosecution can be launched.
आप ऐसा थोड़ी है कि डिमांड 10 साल तक लेके बैठे रहोगे, आपको टीडीएस भरना था 24 करोड़ का, आपकी क्या ड्यूटी थी, अगले ही महीने भर दो 7 तारीख को, आप 6 महीना 7 महीना 1 साल 2 साल 4 साल लेके बैठे रहे, तो प्रोसिक्यूट तो होगा ना, नहीं होना चाहिए, आप बताओ।
The interest is already paid and
दैट इज व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, गवर्नमेंट का 24 करोड़ रुपया, आपको बाहर इंटरेस्ट कितने में मिलता है, गवर्नमेंट को कितना देते हो, चलिए उसमें नहीं घुसते, दैट्स लाइटर नोट, है ना। लेकिन क्या है कि आपको एक डेडलाइन दिया हुआ है, ड्यू डेट दिया हुआ है ना, आप नॉन कंप्लायंस के लिए प्रोसिक्यूशन हो रहा है, आपने भर दिया इसलिए नहीं, थोड़ी इसलिए थोड़ी हो रहा है, भर देते टाइम पे भर देते, एंजॉय करते, कोई दिक्कत नहीं थी। नहीं, कोई और सोल्यूशन बताइए, कैसे भरवाएं फिर, जो आदमी 6 महीना नहीं भर रहा है, साल भर नहीं भर रहा है, क्या करें फिर उसका। नहीं नहीं सर, every year he was having 12-15 crores income every year, yeah, every year.
Also, sir, we have to see that non-compliance का नियम क्या लायक है?
Sir.
तो delay payment क्या wage interest है? आप interest से ले रहे हो, उससे payment कर दिया, फिर भी prosecution क्यों हो रहा है?
नॉन कंप्लायंस के लिए ना सर,
आप interest तो नहीं किया, नॉन कॉम्प्लायंस है नहीं, तो फिर डिले का इंटरेस्ट क्यों ले रहे हो? अगर नॉन कॉम्प्लायंस आप बोलोगे हर जगह,
हाँ
तो डिले का लॉजिक ही मतलब
नहीं सर, हमको इंटरेस्ट में इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, नहीं नहीं, आप हम ये कह रहे हैं, आप बी कंप्लायंट, हमको इंटरेस्ट मत दीजिए, वी आर नॉट इंटरेस्टेड इनटू इंटरेस्ट। नहीं, प्रोविजन है तो दूसरा भी तो प्रोविजन है ना सर, इंटरेस्ट का प्रोविजन है तो क्या प्रोसिक्यूशन का प्रोविजन नहीं है? यस, so sir, you are making it, you are committing an offense by not complying, na?
delay payment. Note for note.
So that is the offense, na?
Always the liberality of delay.
Sir.
Already paid the interest. मेरा आगे नहीं सुधी पहला का process.
सर ये तो सर ये बिल्कुल सही बात है आपकी,
लेकिन unless there is deterrent punishment, people will not pay, they will continue paying interest also, but they will not pay.
that is what I am saying, na sir,
Interest is required.
that is what I am saying, that is what I am saying, sir. We are not interested.
आपने उससे लोन ले लिया, इंटरेस्ट के साथ लग गया, खत्म हो गया। गवर्नमेंट इमेजिन द डिडक्टर्स रिस्पांसिबिलिटी वाज टू डिडक्ट इट एंड डिपॉजिट इट, ना तो डिडक्टर का खुद का टैक्स है, डिडक्टर इज कलेक्टिंग इट ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ गवर्नमेंट एंड इज गवर्नमेंट इमेजिन, तो वो अपने पॉकेट में खुद कर सकता है। अगर इस लॉजिक पे लेट्स से पीपल स्टार्ट डूइंग बिजनेस कि मैं उस अमाउंट जो गवर्नमेंट रेवेन्यू का उसको मैं लेके मैं अपना बिजनेस करूंगा, बाद में इंटरेस्ट मैं तुम्हारा
गवर्नमेंट जो बैंक बनना नहीं चाहती उसको बैंक बना दिया इंटरेस्ट दे रहे हैं आपको, तो गवर्नमेंट में आप कैसे कर सकते हो?
नॉन पेमेंट के लिए कोई बेसिक नहीं कर पाएगा, क्योंकि बैंक भी फैसिलिटी देती है लोअर रेट इंटरेस्ट पे, पॉइंट वो नहीं है। पर आज की सर्कमस्टेंस ऐसी हो जाती है कि वो पेमेंट नहीं कर पाता।
सर
डिडक्टर, it's not deductor's tax. It's not deductor's tax.
Excuse me, sir. These are arguments we are here to solve the queries, right?
I have
See, financial tax cannot be
the
exempt.
solution to his query.
Yeah.
First of all, you are supposed to pay it on time to government. Correct? So the money belongs to the government, which you are keeping it without the permission of the government. The money belongs to government, you are keeping it without the permission. Is it not criminal breach of trust using government's money as if it's your own money for your own working capital purpose? So will it not be?
We are just discussing the provisions, so let's not go into the argument.
It's about continuity. Manjeet.
okay. Now as per the new guidelines, जो prosecution complaint है that has to be served on the SSC within the 15 days from the the day we have launched it. The order of पहले ये नहीं था, तो many of the SSCs they never knew कि उनके against में prosecution launch भी हो गया है. So जब उनको कोर्ट से समन जाता था then they came to know कि अरे ये हो गया है ना, प्रोसिक्यूशन लॉन्च हुआ है. तो वो चीज हटाने के लिए इस गाइडलाइन में ही हमको डायरेक्शन दे दिया है कि दैट वी हैव टू सर्व इट विद इन 15 days. सो नाउ यू विल कम टू नो इमीडिएटली विद इन 15 days. The order of acceptance or rejection of application of compounding shall be brought to the notice of the court. If it is pending in the court, then it has to be brought to the notice by us. Now, yes sir. नहीं sir. If we have compounded, then court will accept it. Yeah. अभी हाँ मतलब we will withdraw the prosecution. There is no logic in going. Now अभी सिर्फ कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस को पे करने के लिए कोई सेपरेट ये नहीं था, चालान भरने का कोई provision नहीं था. So now with this new guidelines they have inserted it. Now you can pay the challan under this 500. पहले अपना अलग अलग एक ही TDS की जो नॉर्मल उसमें है उसी में डालते थे, तो it could many problems were there. Now but 500 में आपने पे कर दिया, now it is for compounding only. It cannot be adjusted against any other. So अभी इसमें कंपाउंडिंग के केसेस में, प्रोसिक्यूशन के केसेस में बहुत बार क्या होता था कि NRIs को बहुत डर लगता था इसमें कंपाउंडिंग के लिए आने में, बिकॉज वो एक प्रोसिक्यूशन वाला टैग लग गया. तो इसमें इस गाइडलाइन में वो क्लेरिफाई किया है कि दिस कंपाउंडिंग ये हमको मेंशन करना ही करना पड़ेगा ऑर्डर में, इफ इट इज अ केस ऑफ NRI, कि दिस कंपाउंडिंग ऑर्डर इज इंटेंडेड टू रिजॉल्व द ऑफेंस अंडर सेक्शन 279(2) of the act and should not be construed as an admission of offense by the applicant. तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा इशू था कि लोग कंपाउंडिंग के लिए नहीं आते थे, है ना. सो कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस, आपने एक एप्लीकेशन फाइल किया 10 साल का, एक ही किया है, दैट विल बी काउंटेड एज वन एप्लीकेशन. सो उसका जो चार्जेस है दैट विल बी, वो एप्लीकेशन के लिए है सर, वो एप्लीकेशन फाइल करने के लिए कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन फी है वो. ये कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस हैं. ये 1.5% का जो आपका इंटरेस्ट रेट है, वही जो आपने मोटा मोटी जो अपने TDS पेमेंट के साथ इंटरेस्ट पे किया था वही अमाउंट है ये. तो अब उसके अलावा उसके बाद आप अगली जो एप्लीकेशन करेंगे, सपोज आपका 1 साल कंपाउंड हो गया है, आपके 5 साल थे, आपने एक साथ एप्लीकेशन नहीं डाला, आपने अलग अलग करके डाला, तो अगर आपने एक साथ 5 डाल दिए थे तो वो एक एप्लीकेशन हो गया, लेकिन अब उसके बाद आप अगले साल में भी हो गया है, तो वो जब आ जाएंगे तो देन इट विल इंक्रीज बाय 1.2%, 1.2 टाइम्स. फिर उसके अगले बार जाएंगे तो 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, वो इस तरह से बढ़ता जाएगा. फिर Now compounding जो एप्लीकेशन है वो अगर आपने प्रोसिक्यूशन लॉन्च के 12 महीने के अंदर फाइल कर दिया देन द कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस विल बी 1.5% ओनली। लेकिन अगर आपने कंपाउंडिंग एप्लीकेशन प्रोसिक्यूशन लॉन्च होने के 12 महीने बाद किया देन दैट कंपाउंडिंग चार्जेस विल बी इंक्रीज्ड बाय 50%। So this is the only addition in this guideline. Otherwise, there is no all the charges against co-accused, litigation fees, and other charges. वो सब हटा दिया है. So now it's simpler now. You can pursue your clients to if they are into the situation of filing compounding, and so now it can be advise them to go for it. Now, where an offense under this act has been committed by a company or HUF as defined in section 278B, 278C of the act, an application for compounding may be filed separately or conjointly by the main accused, company, or HUF, and or any other person deemed to be guilty in the offense. Co-accused भी जाके application अब कर सकते हैं, as we discussed earlier. It is again clarified that in case of offenses by the company or HUF, the main accused or co-accused may apply separately or conjointly on payment of compounding charges of offense as determined under these guidelines by any one of them separately or jointly. हर एक अगर अलग अलग एप्लीकेशन करेंगे तो हर एक को अलग अलग चार्ज देने की जरूरत नहीं है. Charges will be same only for everybody. For the purpose of depositing compounding charges, co-accused under section 278B, 278C of the Act may deposit the charges under his PAN for the relevant financial year of the offense for which compounding is sought. Now these are now ये कुछ comparative analysis बनाया था पुरानी guidelines के, but now पुरानी guideline कोई this was for administrative purpose only, but now since they are not in use, then there is nothing to discuss about it. Because अभी 2024 वाला ही ये है. अभी आप सवाल पूछ सकते हैं.
We have time for this couple of questions, please.
Yes, sir.
सर कंपनी के केस में जैसे दो चार जन accused बनाए गए तो सभी को कंपाउंडिंग के लिए जाना पड़ेगा?
नहीं, that's why I said main accused is the company. अगर कंपनी फाइल करती है तो भी चलेगा. Co-accused, any of the co-accused, रोका नहीं है उनको, they also can file, but any of the accused or co-accused can file it.
नहीं जैसे चार डायरेक्टर के सामने आपने प्रोसीडिंग चालू किया है
हाँ.
प्रोसिक्यूशन का एक जन ने कंपाउंड कर दिया
हाँ.
तो
All will be compounded for that. Yeah. All will be compounded.
I have one question to Mr. Anil. The case where the TDS correction statement cannot be now filed because of the death of the deductor or the providing of the company is moved up, and in fact they should have corrected the PAN number. Can a deductee approach the TAN AO and request for the correction of the PAN number because he is not getting the TDS credit for this?
Yes.
PAN was wrong.
Yes.
After TAN AO and the act to correct the PAN number in the statement of TDS.
TAN AO doesn't have the right, but deductee can always approach to the TAN AO. And TAN AO may, I will say, not require, may give a warning type to the deductor to testify.
But it's not the way all the companies wound up. Right? It's a company that is stuck off. That is why the correction cannot be.
See, sir, in the profile section, the deductor has to register who's responsible for deducting. Let's say it was the register that director was responsible. So someone would be there, some accountant would be there, some CEO, CFO companies would be there.
Companies wound up. And no one is there to take care of.
No one is there, sir.
And
Someone would be there. And you have one person
PAN
there.
is not properly reflected.
What I want to say here is that in the profile section, the person responsible for deducting tax can be seen. Okay, and correction statement can be filed by any other person.
It can be filed by any other person.
It can be filed, sir. No, that's what I'm saying. See, if the deductor is not able to log in for some reason, log in through cases, then the request can be made to the TANEO, because request can be made to the TANEO to reset the user ID and password. Okay, the director itself can also reset it, the user ID and password. Someone from the company will be able to create it.
Okay, I think this, we can take it up separately. We are actually already overshot the time. So अभी ये देख के समझ में आ रहा है कि actually कोई बोले ना the cost of compliance is too high, but try non-compliance, the cost is even higher, right? So to propose a formal vote of thanks, I tried to invite a deputy convener.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege to extend heartfelt gratitude on behalf of our all attendees for our special guest from income tax official for resolving problem occurring during TDS filing and other problems like prosecution and compounding. Thanks, Convener Madam, for giving me this opportunity. Friends, our Joint Commissioner of Income Tax, Sujata Madam and her team described almost every issue and solved our queries related to TDS. First and foremost, I wish to thank our learned faculty, JCIT, Messrs. Sujata Iyengar, GCIT, Mr. Naman Goyal, and their team, Mr. Sunil Lal, Manjeet Singh ji, Mr. Manoj Kumar, Mr. Siddharth Nandal, and CA Ravi ji, who have precisely solved our most of queries. Thank you, Siddharth sir and Manjeet sir, for precisely describe every function of the portal of TDS along with prosecution and how to compound it. Lastly, a special thanks to all the attendees, coordinator and management staff who have making the event run smoothly. We request all of you to please give a lot of applause on behalf of our speaker. Thank you.